are working for the people. Why are you talking to them like that? Why are you dividing the people and making them like we versus them? When the policies that affect everyone spared no one. So why are the government worker or government appointees so condescending, so insulting, so reckless and all that? The reason is very simple. They have to do all of that so that they can keep their feeding bottle. It's not because they love Nigeria. Whether you like take loan, share the money, steal the money, impoverish everybody, they will build their own survivor and the future survivor on the term they get with the guy who is at the top. So the guy at the top doesn't even have to do anything. Do you understand? Tinubu doesn't even have to do anything anymore. Now them go they bring idea. Esa, this is what we plan to do. You see, Esa, we've just finished speaking with the chief of staff. Chief service chiefs now. So we've told them that they need to man this area. So we are planning to ensure that all these places are, and then we expect 16 million from here, 15 million from here, and yes, sir. It's a very much perfect plan. It will just be like, okay. What do you need? No, we just want to let you know we have everything we need, sir. And so now we're going to say, Tinubu this, Tinubu that. It doesn't even have to do anything. If they want people, if they see anybody that should be killed, it doesn't have to see who should be killed, who should be arrested, who should be jailed, whose business should be targeted. It doesn't have to know anything anymore. Because they are is remaining in power. So mean like him remaining in power is their own survivor. So Nigeria can burn and all of that. They will burn Nigeria in his name. And I want them to please do that, not just literally, like they should do it in reality. Because if people get to know more of that, those who are keeping them in this bondage, right? They are not doing it simply because they love Nigeria. They are doing it because this is their own chance. This is their own opportunity. This is time to become the multi-billionaire. This is so close. And people are complaining in 2 years? No. We have to go and tell them that they are blind. Like Alausa told some of you on channels yesterday. Did you see this?
Without practical evidence.
What are you talking about?
There are laws who say there's the policy framework and the theory about it. Yeah. But what are the evidence?
Every single sector for you now. People just are blind. They don't. Let's get out of this political rhetorics. Let's see the fact. We're seeing it. The country is much better. It's more safer. There's increased prosperity in the country. I'm telling you, our macroeconomic indicators are much better. I didn't make it. The president did not make it. Look at the GDP growth. Look at the report that came out from the National Bureau of Statistics that those reports are subjected to international standards. Goldman Sachs, everybody, those are the reports they look and comb through every time. More increased significant improvement in agriculture. We now have more agriculture contributing more to the GDP than oil sector. Look at the infrastructure development. Look at all the safety net program, the money the president is dedicated, the significant budgetary allocation to health, education, social protection, infrastructure, security. So let's face it.
I know you are
12 to 18 months, we're beginning to see a lot of positive results. But before I come to your question, let me just vindicate the reporting you just did by the NSA on security situation in the country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is delivering for Nigeria and is delivering big time. The president campaigned on so many things, and we're seeing the president meeting his promises to Nigerians. Now, fuel subsidy gone, foreign exchange arbitrage gone, security significantly better all over the country. Farmers have gone back to farm. We're seeing bump harvest. Food prices are going down, and they remain at those low, at those reduced prices. Extensive infrastructure going on across the country. And for the first time since 1925 or 1925 or so, we now have a tax code that will ensure more money comes to the coffer of the government. As the government gets more money, the federal government gets more money, the state gets more money, and the local government get money. What would that lead to? Significant improvement in infrastructure, human capital development, better quality of life. So, this president is delivering. This president has so much passion to improve this country, and we've seen it. The country is fundamentally changed for better and in a sustainable manner. Now, let
ẹni òfò ni ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún sí lálìkìyàmà ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí. ẹni òfò ni ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún sí lálìkìyàmà ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí.
I still want to understand, how did APC convinced educated people that subsidy is gone, is a policy? Naira dollar arbitration is a policy. Now, when you look at them, and you're like, how did they convince you, right, that Nigeria was paying subsidy, right? And Nigerians were buying a liter of petrol, at 160 naira to 1 liter. But Nigeria was paying subsidy. So Kolu came in and said Nigeria couldn't afford to pay for subsidy anymore because Nigeria will need to borrow to pay the subsidy. And then they convinced educated people that it was such a good idea. It was in the interest of the people. They are going to save the money. And 2 years down the line, Nigerians are paying so much, but there is no single dime that they can point to as their saved money. Then they went on to talk about Naira dollar arbitrage using useless fancy English. So we'll break that down on too. They came in and exchange a dollar exchange in their official rate at the time was 420 naira to a dollar. Then they had the black market. It's called black market, Abi. 720 naira to a dollar. Then within a year, Nigeria naira lost over 500% of its value. Because Tinubu convinced you that he's floating it. He wants to match it. Today, a dollar is 1,600 naira. Then they convinced people that 1,600 naira to a dollar is actually good, better than 200 naira to a dollar. I don't know how they did it. I know propaganda is such a very powerful tool, and they have actually perfected the art so well. Educated people are telling people today that 1,600 naira to $1 is actually a very good thing to 200 naira to $1 when these criminals took over. They are now rolling out fake statistics that does not correspond with the reality on ground. They are telling the people that they must be blind. It's because they are blind. People can see it. Infrastructure everywhere. Infrastructure everywhere. Where is everywhere? Everywhere is nowhere. When you are trying to be specific, right? Everywhere is like nowhere. Anywhere. So what is anywhere? What is everywhere? Which infrastructure? Power. How is that? Security. They are telling people that are paying ransoms to terrorists that security has improved. And in fact, they have started rehabilitating people affected by terrorism. But they can't say, here, we've done this. Agriculture has improved. Leno Alausa. And then the next day we tell you, they are giving them student loan. Now, that's not just the only person. There is another one. Dada Nebulaba. He was also on channels with Sheung this evening. The first question was, the one that caught my own attention among many other things. They asked him, Bulaba, Kolu said if he failed to give them electricity in 4 years, that they should not give him power again. Bulaba said, no, that's not what he said. Here is one of them. In the days of garbage, Iseu, garbage Sheu, or Femi Oponu Adeshino, or this other guy, Kojo Yimboko Jafin, as we kind of call them, I forgot his name, the one that worked for channels and got removed by Onofunuga later. Anyway, here is a Bulaba, right? Doing his best to tell everyone that we heard when Kolu said, if I don't give you electricity for years, don't vote for me again. Sort of.
Nigerians have access to reliable electricity. And it's on tape that the president has promised that if we do not, after 4 years, if we do not provide you constant electricity, do not vote for us. Yeah. And those who are rational, we know that with the way our electricity is today, there is no way you can guarantee constant electricity. Could Nigeria say, okay, that is the premise upon which President Bola Tinubu should not come back?
No, what he said was a statement of intent that is backed up by a commitment to make that happen. When you make
so now it's looking like that premise is a dash promise.
I'm coming now. When you make such a commitment, the next thing is you put it to work, which is what he has been doing. You have been covering, Mr. Sheun, the intricacy and the problem in that industry with the Gencos complaining about not being funded, with the banks even wanting to take over their asset because they collected loan, they are not able to pay, with customer. You know the circumstances. This power issue, President Obasanjo and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, do you know how many $1 billion they sunk into that thing? By the time they say Jack Robinson, nothing is there, nothing at all. In this case, you can see generation, you can see.
But the president said that he has what it takes to fix it.
So that's what I'm saying. That we are laying the foundation, and it's obvious.
But it can't happen in 4 years.
So let me ask you one question.
So if you told us, Mr. Buala,
yes,
are you saying that we should not be able to trust president for whatever he has said?
The president has demonstrated sufficient commitment in the way he has governed Nigeria so far that he has elicited the trust of majority of Nigerians.
And
Nuisance Lele.
Danny Bulaba, the former Atif Kusa spokesman, let me make a quick correction because that na confidently repeat some of the nonsense that paid mouth like that spew in public with their intending deflection from the real thing. Number one, Tinubu is not doing anything about your power. Okay? But there is a chance that, they will take Tinubu to this newly completed power plant by Adeleke, Davido's dad. Just like they went to go and cut tape of Dangote refinery for about 4 or 5 times, including Kolu. Right? So they may do that. There is nothing that Tinubu and his gang are doing about your power. There is no power project of this Tinubu's regime going on anywhere that they can tell you. Then I say, he just started a power project, this or is, you know what I mean? They will tell you they are carrying out the same maintenance. However, it is true they are owning the gencos, the companies that generate electricity, simply because they take some subsidy from government and it's not being paid. And according to them, it's over 4 trillion naira. Banks are, running after them and all of that stuff. So it's making it difficult for them to expand because they are in debt. So anybody telling you that Tinubu is doing something, no. They went to go and see Tinubu few days ago. I think I still have that clip. They went to go and see Tinubu a few days ago to beg him to see if he could probably pay them part of the 4 trillion naira they hold. Do you understand? And so there is no power project anywhere. Of course, trust them. Davido's power plant, Davido's father's power plant needs adequate supply of crude to generate the electricity for you. But the issue is not even just that as well. I think they are talking about evacuation and all of that. They said among your power sort of generation spots in the country, for instance, like Kainji or so, right, which is hydro. So Kainji has a capacity of either Kainji or Shiruru, either of the two, I'm not sure, but either of the two. So they said it has a capacity to generate at least 740 something or so megawatts of electricity. But the only evacuatable megawatt is just like half of that. So which means almost half is wasting away. Whatever that is the problem, partly crude oil supply is also part of the problem. So if Davido's that plants finally come upstream in full, that is 1,250 megawatt of electricity built by a private company. Just like you have your own other energy provider in Abia, something like that. But there's nothing that Tinubu is building anywhere. Nothing. But they will tell you that, he's walking around it and all of that. So that is one. Obasanjo did not spend $16 billion on power. There was no $16 billion spent on power. It is still this level of deflection, misinformation that has lasted very long. Evidence is online. The document of all the power plants that Obasanjo built. Obasanjo started 11 power plants simultaneously across the country. Some of these power plants are part of what is giving you electricity in Nigeria today. And that is also a fact. You see, every time they want to take their slander at, the Obankparo himself, right? He's always there. And I don't think that will ever change. But for the sake of those of you who are expected to be enlightened, okay, even if you lose any argument, right, don't push your argument to Obasanjo spent $16 billion on power. I've actually heard Showore said that too. Unfortunately, Obasanjo did not spend 16 billion on power. In fact, according to available information, yes, $16 billion was to build 11 power plants across Nigeria, but it was not to be provided by government. Do you understand? So it was not like government will have to provide that. But from the part of them, like, making the right of way this or that, like they are doing new road and all that, Obasanjo's government spent on, which is the evidence that is available, Obasanjo's government is said to have spent over $4 billion out of their own part of the funding. There's no $16 billion anywhere, and nobody should say there's no power. Obasanjo spent $16 billion, there is no power. That is absolute nonsense. It is not true. I didn't hear that part before I came on. I would have put the list. Oh, you can do it. I'll do it when I put another video on right now, okay? And you can possibly tell me I'm lying, okay? So yeah, I've heard that many times. I've had personal conversation with people, and every small thing, they will just drop it. Look at that Obasanjo service talking. He and Atiku, they spend 16 billion on power, and there's no power.